just so that it's clear, what the planning office has in mind is that they're trying to get your advice, and they're asking for it in the form of these questions, so that when they get all that advice, they can modify the engagement strategy. They can modify how they're planning to involve people, so when they implement those activities, it reflects what that advice is. So that's really what this is all about. So if we can walk through the questions, and we can talk about what's important to you, and you can perhaps give us some feedback on the questions, and if you don't want to provide all the feedback right now, if you want to provide it later, if you think about it, that would be great. There's various ways you can do that. Drop it off at DFO, email it, phone meal, any one of those options will work. Okay?
If you don't get anything from me, it's because I'm away all this week.
Right.
So when I don't get down tonight, doesn't mean I'm not interested.
Yes. I think we're going to get some stuff from you tonight. I feel it coming. No. You've got a lot of experience and see a lot of other people here. So we need to get that experience, please. So, is that okay? All right. So the first question is about this Integrated Oceans Advisory Committee. This top bubble on the bubble diagram. And so what the planning office is planning, as you know, as Neil just presented, is to establish this committee. And they want to establish it by June. And there's really 3 questions that they're interested in. You may have some other advice as well. The 3 questions are about what the committee is supposed to do, what its responsibilities are. The second is about who's on it, like what's the representation or participation on that committee. And the third is how to make it work effectively. Given your experience in other processes, what's your advice on how to make this thing work? Okay, recognizing it's not the only vehicle for participation, but it's a very important one. And so, let me draw your attention to 2 places in this document. If you look at the next page over from that diagram, page 6, and the numbers of the pages are on the side of a nice little icon. There's a list of activities or responsibilities for this advisory committee. And if I can summarize that list, it's essentially that it's providing advice on the plan itself and on the priority issues that need to be addressed. So it's working with the planning office in implementing the whole process and also providing feedback and working on the products. And that list of activities or responsibilities is there. The other part of the other place in the document, the very last page, and that gives you a list of potential participation. So the very last page of this document, Appendix B, it gives you advisory committee composition. And it gives you a list there, and you'll notice right away that neither First Nations nor federal agencies are on the list. That's because this is an advisory committee to federal agencies and First Nations. But federal agencies and First Nations will be participating in this advisory committee in a kind of ex officio capacity. That is, they'll be at the table working with the committee members, but this is kind of non-government interests. We've got commercial fish harvesting, communication services and infrastructure, local communities, marine conservation, recreation tourism, fish harvesting, recreational fish harvesting, renewable and non-renewable energy, seafood processing, shellfish and finfish aquaculture, and shipping and transportation. So this conversation, based on the last 7 that we've had, is going to bounce around a little bit between what the committee is responsible for, who's on it, and how you would make it work. So your thoughts on any of those questions would be really helpful. Go ahead.
Just first, again, is every committee has a chairperson or co-chairs or what have you. So I know with regards to sport fish committee meetings, within DFO, there's a DFO person and an elected person that are co-chairs. And even though I don't have any responsibility per se, I mean, I do help develop the agenda, I do help do the meeting minutes, and I do help organize the government's participation to come to that meeting to ensure that whatever that advisory group is interested in discussing, that the right people from the other side are there. So with all these different members, again, ensuring they have a process to elect a chairperson or what have you, for internal representation. Because even in the Sportfish Committee, they have a large group of people, say 30 or 40 people there. But there's, say, for example, my Central Coast title SFAC, they've got an Area 7 Lodge and Charter rep, they've got an Area 8 and an Area 9 Lodge and Charter rep, and then they have independent representation, independent recreational fishermen. There's try to be a balance between those two groups. And there's also like the BC Wildlife Federation representative. So there's other major agencies that do come to those meetings. So again, it's trying to figure out how we have all these groups, but how are they going to actually participate? I know it's developed in terms of reference that still has to be done, but keeping that in mind, because it's really hard to control a large group of people unless you have a structure. And to bring a large group of people together to determine the structure, it's like, do you have the structure and then the people, or the people determining the structure? And it's the best way to do that. But it can be a long process to get to the terms of reference if you don't have something, a straw dog to guide them on how the process should be done.
So start off with a sort of draft structure in terms of reference, and then bring the committee together around that and modify it to...
I would think so. I mean, I don't know what anybody else's thoughts are input on it, but you can't just throw a bunch of people in a room and say, you're a committee. You know, we'd like you to do this without somebody, you know, sitting there. Because, I mean, my group, I mean, I love them to bits, but unless you kind of keep them in line, it's everywhere. And you're just at the end, you're just like, okay, we made it through that. But
yeah, you gotta have, like you say,
you have to
have some kind of structure.
Okay.
An expectation when they come there, and even guidelines on how to participate. Because again, you have sort of, the idea is, you know, sort of Robert's Rules of Order, but you don't necessarily need that, but how to relate to each other in a meeting. Right? I'm not sure, Kenny's got a lot of experience running meetings with multiple people, and you just kind of need a common understanding when they come into the room. And certain people they look to for signals, whether it be a chairperson or somebody that's guiding the meeting. It doesn't have to be sort of the First Nation or government side, but they have to know how they're integral.
Okay.
Or like a workshop where you have a facilitator. You know, the people in the workshop would look to the facilitator for guidance, or the meeting got out of hand, the facilitator's job would be to get it back in order.
So, facilitated leadership. Okay. Other thoughts about that question? How to make it work, or the composition, or what it should do or what it should not do? What are your thoughts about the composition? That last page.
Anyone missing from that list?
Who's communication services and infrastructure? What types of things are you thinking about that?
It could be, I think there's a number of things we're trying to capture there. It could be things like, there's lots of payments that run and see for communication purposes, ports, our kind of service, our infrastructure. So it's kind of that, it's a bit of a catch-all for different kinds of infrastructure functions that aren't really very well captured by the others.
I hope I don't get my head bit like this. Most of what I see here is about economic opportunities. And I think if we don't invite some of the non-government agencies into the process, then you're likely to have a struggle at some point